What's up guys, name is Ray and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. In today's video we want to talk about optimizing your team builds as a free-to-play, especially in the early stages of the game and of course also in the later stages of the game. So as a free-to-play you are not really used to getting what you want. That's fact number one. You are not able to get any 5-stars that you like to except if you do really save for a long time, but nobody wants to do so. So what I want you to what I want to say in this video is try to use what you got. This is like rule number one as a free to play. Do not expect to get what you want, but try to use what you have. So I want to talk about the team builds in the beginning in a very theoretical part, and then we want to go over some practical things where we want to simulate a free-to-play situation that is very typical for every player. Now I want to talk about two elemental reactions in the game that can make any team stronger and that you should use if you want to increase your damage. So I want to talk about Vaporize and I want to talk about Melt. So if you guys do already know these elemental reactions, I want to go over them a little bit more in detail, and maybe there was some information that you didn't get yet. Now, let's go over the team build and make a new team. So we know that these 5 characters in the top row are guaranteed. For Vaporize, you basically do need water and you do need fire, and for Melt you do need ice and you do need pyro. So yeah, pyro is basically fire. But it is like not as easy as it sounds. You cannot expect to put any water character and any fire character and expect to have a well-rounded vaporized comp, especially like with characters like Barbara and Amber, which aren't usually main DPS characters. Of course, you can make them you can make use of them as a main DPS character, but that is usually not that their main role. So to make a clear cut for these characters. So usually, as I said, if I want to have Vaporize in my team, I would add like these 2 characters. But as I already said, they aren't supposed to be in those roles. So what you can do now is try to look at your characters and look what they are doing. So, or who can be a main DPS character. The main DPS character usually is the character that triggers your elemental reaction. So for me, at the moment, Kea or the main character or my main DPS characters. So let's say we use Kea because we do not want to use Anemo. So Kea can trigger Superconduct and he can trigger Freeze. And these are not like the 2 elemental reactions that I did talk at the beginning with. So talking about these 2 elemental reactions, it is important in which order you activate the elements. So Vaporize is optimal if you put on fire first and activate water after this, then the multiplier is doubled. So you have a 200% damage increase. But if you do it the other way around, if you put on Hydro first and activate Pyro after this, you will only have a 150% damage increase. So if Kea is your main DPS and you want to trigger Melt, it is the same thing. You want to put ice on first and then you want to melt that ice with fire to get the 200% damage multiplier. But if Kea is your main DPS, you will do it the other way around. Let's say you use Amber and Kea in one team. Then you put on the fire effect with Amber and then you want to swap into your main DPS who is Kea. You want to trigger the melt reaction, then you will also only get the 150% multiplier. So if you like only have these characters and you cannot consistently proc the elemental reaction, what we want to do now is try to go for another elemental reaction. Of course, they are not as strong as Vaporize and Melt, but this is where we want to get. So as you progress, you want to deal more damage, I would recommend, of course, to deal with these elements, but you are not forced to use any of these elemental reactions. this is just a highly recommendation if you want to double or triple your damage, of course. Now, what we want to do then is you can put a way more consistent elemental reaction. This is what I would recommend. Go over take a consistent elemental reaction and put it over the strongest elemental reactions if you cannot build them consistently. So I could make use of a melt reaction if I put Kea and Amber in the team. So this would be the one that would work the best, because then I can freeze the enemies, or I can put the cryo element on the enemy and then I can melt with Amber. But for this I would have to invest in my Amber, because Amber is one that triggers the elemental reaction. So Amber would should have a investment, and then she has a role as a DPS character. But I don't want to have Amber because I still want to work with preference on this account. So what you want to do now is try to put, as I already said, another elemental reaction in the team. So my current team is this. I use Kea as a main DPS, my main character as a sub DPS, Barbara as my healer, and Amber is a utility supporter. So what I want to do is I usually use the E from Barbara and I use the E from Kea, so I get a consistent frozen or freeze elemental reaction without having any problems. With the Anemo I can spread this effect, and then with Amber I still can proc the pyro elemental reaction. Yeah, this would be like the most free-to-play way that you can get. You can use like Lisa if you want, so you can proc Superconduct along with Kea, or you can overload with these two characters. Try to put at least one elemental reaction in your team, if not two elemental reactions. This would be way better to increase your damage, especially at the beginning where you don't have like special artifacts or weapons that you can work with. So if you guys know, this is the free-to-play account. On this free-to-play account, I'm not allowed to use any constellations on characters except for the main character, and I'm also not allowed to use any 5-star characters on this account. Same with weapons and 4-star weapons that are from the Gacha system. But I am allowed to use every 4-star character. And what we want to do now is we want to simulate a situation. So usually you have like these free-to-play characters. So all my characters in the team are free-to-play. And all the characters that I already pulled, or they won't help me with the elemental reaction that I want to build. So I want to build a melt, or I want to build a vaporized team comp right now. So because I did say we are not allowed to use 5-star characters, I cannot use Chi-Chi, and these 3 characters that I already pulled don't help me with the elemental reaction that I want to build. So what I want to do now, or what you normally do as a player, is you want to summon or wish. So currently when I record the video, we have 6 days left on the Zhongli banner. A big luxury for me is I can literally summon on every banner, since I do not hunt for any 5-star characters, and I'm not allowed to use constellations on my 4-star characters. So I can literally summon for every banner and try to work with what I get. So I have 10 of the Acquainted Fate Zones, so let's do a summon and simulate, of course, the whole situation. So we don't want to see any 5-star, but we want to see a 4-star character that can give me the vaporize or melt effect. If it is a weapon that is Gacha, we can also not use this. So hopefully it is a character. And we have Bennett! Oh my god, Bennett is insane. Bro, Bennett is insane. This is a fire character. Okay, I'm allowed to use this. Okay, let's do one multi in the Zhongli banner. Maybe we can get Xinyan, or we can get Changyan, but I won't do more than that. Okay, we have another multi summon on this. Alright, we have Changyan. I'm pretty satisfied with the whole summon situation. So this makes everything way easier. So let's go over, after the summon, let's go back into the team build. So I exactly did pull a cryo or a fire character. Of course, you cannot expect to get exactly what I did, but in this banner you have a very good chance to get a cryo and a fire character, because after the second death multi, so if you get a unfeatured or a not rated up 4-star character, you are guaranteed to get one out of those 3, and then you have a 2 in 3 chance to get Chinyan or Changyan, who can help you with your elemental reaction. Other than that, we also do have the Spiral Abyss, which I didn't do yet, which gives you a guaranteed copy of Jiang Ling, so another fire DPS character for you. So since I did pull Bennett on this account, I can make a new team now, which I want to, of course, show you guys. So I'd like to use Kea in this team. You can use Changyan if you want, but I prefer to use Kea for now. Then I'd like to use, of course, Bennett, the new character that I pull. So I have the elemental reaction for Melt, because I can use Bennett as my main DPS character, and I can use Kea as my sub DPS character now, because I can proc the ice effect with Kea, and then I can go with Bennett and use his fire element. Now we want to add in some water, so we can proc Vaporize, and we can proc, because we have fire and water, we can proc Vaporize. In addition to that, I put in Amber, because we have the elemental resonance. Having 2 fire characters, we can increase our attack by 25%, which is huge in the beginning. So this would be the team that I'd like to use for now. So you can, if you do not have Bennett, you can put like Jiang Ling in this spot, so then you would have 4 of the guaranteed characters. But there are like a lot of different other options that I did tell you at the beginning. Try to put at least 1 elemental reaction in your team. Prefer to have Vaporize or Melt if you can get it out consistently, like I do in my comp, which I will show you of right now. And if you cannot put, if you haven't access to those consistent elemental reactions, you can go for the other elemental reactions if you can put them out consistently, like Freeze, Superconduct, Overload, and all the other ones. Anemo is also a very good element because it does help you out to spread out certain elements. So for example, if you have fire, you can spread out the fire effect, and then you can still add another element to put out a elemental reaction. So I want to try out this team. I want to limit break Bennett real quick, and after this we want to show some gameplay. Alright, I just want to show you like the damage output that Bennett has without using elemental reactions. So you can see it is still very decent, because I did put the weapon and some trash artifact on him, but he still does decent damage because he is leveled up and he's such a good unit. So you may want to look for some stronger enemies, so you really can test this out to the limits. So let's go for this Citizen Mage, because we will take a bit longer. So you can watch like the auto attacks that we currently have to trigger non-elemental reactions. So we just put on the fire effect, and now of course we want to wait and put the elemental reaction, as I said, in the right order. So ice should go first, and after this we go for fire. So let's go. Use this, swap back to Bennett, and we have Melt. You can see it does way more damage, and we have again Melt. Then we can proc fire and finish him off. Okay, I think it would be way easier to show off against that Ruin Guard. So let's try and use fire again. So you did saw it was 350, 380. So just from the E. So this is like the raw damage from his fire element. Now we can try to use Vaporize to negate the fire effect. After this we want to swap back to Kea. We can freeze this guy, and you did saw 1000 attack. Okay, we can do it all over again. Let's freeze this guy. Just make him wet a bit, and swap back to Kea. Freeze this and use fire with Bennett. Okay, that was way too fast. Okay, let's do it again. We won't have any troubles with doing that. freeze this guy and use ultimate 1500 and 1000. Now let's use E again, 727 with Vaporize, so this is just a 150% multiplier, keep that in mind. We do not have any troubles beating this guy, as you can see. Okay, just to show you it all off again, I did search for another Ruin God and want to show you it all again. So, as you can see, I did proc all the elemental reactions as consistent as possible. So if you guys, for example, do not know, is my comp consistent enough, then just try it out. So this is the thing that I could recommend you. You do know the orders to proc the elemental reactions. So if you want to proc Vaporize, fire first, water after this. If you want to proc melt, ice first and then fire. Now let's melt this guy. Then we proc the first elemental reaction, which is freeze, and then we use this one to put some additional damage. Okay, I think it was negated. Let's do it again. Swap the Kale, freeze him, swap the Bannett, and use Vaporize. No, not Vaporize, and use Melt again. Let's do this again. So you just can do this and repeat this all over again until you have like all your ultimates, and this is like not using the ultimates that I have. Let's wait for this guy, and then we want to go in a faster run. Let's do this, freeze him, swap to this, swap the Bennett, use this, and see how fast he is down. And again, nearly 1000 damage. So we didn't have any troubles with beating this guy, just because we used the strongest elemental reactions in the game. So I want to show you like the artifacts and stuff real quick that I used on these characters, so you can see that it is very easy to beat the game without having any 5 stars, without having any other special characters on your team. So all you do need is a good team composition. So as I said, I would recommend to go for Vaporize and Melt. If you can, try to use 2 fire characters so you can get the elemental resonance. And if you can't do it, try to put characters on your team that give you the most consistent elemental reactions in a fight. Now, yeah, just go over. I used the prototype ranker. It is a free-to-play weapon. I did ascend it to level 40. It is nothing special. Then for artifacts, I only do use random artifact sets, so you do not have to have these sets. So what I do recommend for the first 40 levels is just raw attack percentage, and this has pyro bonus damage, so nothing really special. And also the artifacts are only 2 and 3 stars, aren't leveled up, so you can do you can put literally any artifacts on your characters that you want as soon as you are like not AO 45 plus. Yeah, hope I could help you out with the video, and if I could do so, like, comment, and subscribe would help me out a lot. See you guys next time. If you guys want to see more Genshin Impact content, videos should pop up on the screen right now. Make sure to check them out, and I thank you for your support.